I want to welcome you to my house. I'm going to welcome Paul to my house.
Thank you.
This is the 40th year that, it was 40 years ago, Paul, that your father started the tea company.
Our father.
Is that news to you?
It's not news, no, and it's great. Pops, we thank you for doing that back in 1983, and we're certainly happy to be here.
So we're going to answer some of your questions that people had asked over this last year about Harney Sons. Well, there was an old Englishman, Stanley Mason, and Stanley had been retired up here, and he got our father to start to sell loose tea, and that was in 1970.
Where was that, Mike?
At the White Hart Inn,
okay,
which is in Salisbury, Connecticut, just not too far from here, Paul.
Yep.
And so he started doing that, but then in 1983, he started Harney Sons. Now, you were still in the house at that time, right? So what happened?
I was a freshman in high school, I believe. No, maybe something like that, sophomore maybe. We had a co-packer, so a co-packer packed most of our tea bags and stuff like that. He spent a lot of time bringing that down to the basement. I would bring it down, and then in the afternoon I would bring it up for the UPS man to pick up. We lived in a nice little house, Robin Hill Lane.
Robin Hill Lane, the old house.
Lakeville, Connecticut, and that's how it sort of started. It was in the basement, and then it was in the breezeway, and then eventually it went to the garage.
I remember when it got to the garage, yeah.
So he kind of worked out because he finished the breezeway. They finished the breezeway to put it in there, and then they finished the garage to put it in there.
We used to sleep in the breezeway, man. That was a good place
Chief Carpenter,
to sleep.
me and Nick DeAngelis.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, no, so that's how we kicked that thing off, 1983, right, Mike? May, something like that is what we would say.
I was always saying October, but I wasn't there at the time, so I'm willing to do it.
I have no recollection, none. Mike.
So somewhere between May to October.
We don't know.
All right.
We don't know. But at some point in time, we probably have to figure out when the White Hart got sold, because probably right about that same time.
Right, we'll look up in Zillow.
That's what I mean. We could figure that out. But we'll try to figure that out for everybody.
Well, Paul, you were here at the time. Did he ever tell you?
He didn't tell me, but I think it was wishful thinking, Mike.
Huh.
He was an optimist by nature, of course.
By nature. Yeah, no, so I was out in Chicago, actually, Paul, at the time.
Yes,
and I was sort of successfully running a hotel maybe at that time, and
that's it.
We were getting ready to have Alex, so it was a little premature thinking about it.
It's got a better ring to it, Mike.
People always think we're British, Paul. You know,
it's got a better ring to it.
Yeah.
You know, I think there's probably plenty of Son businesses that started without the son in the business.
Yep. Well, it gives a tradition which we've built up now.
That's it. That's it. Harney tea might not be quite so exciting.
No, you're right.
Kind of rolls off the tongue.
H&S.
There you go.
So, the first 6 teas, Paul, were Earl Grey, English breakfast, the
Irish breakfast, Mike.
Darjeeling, and Gunpowder Green, and Formosa Oolong.
There you go. Look at that. Boom. So those were some real classics, Mike.
Yeah, no, he got it from this real nice guy named Bill McMelville, who had his company Foremost Friedman. You know, we still have in the front of the factory his tasting table.
That's
there.
Exactly right.
His business had been around for a while, and he originally was working down in Wall Street, actually, the far side of Wall Street, down by the Fulton Fish Market, was where his offices were.
Yep, no, Bill was a nice guy.
Well, Paul, when you were working for him, did he pay you?
No, he didn't pay me.
Well, my first year, he didn't pay me either, and I had a family, so it was a little rough. So it wasn't a lot of business in the early days, huh?
There was not a lot of business in the early days, and it was a long, slow climb out.
I remember when somebody said to him, the first million is the hardest. And we were way, way below the first million.
Yep.
So
it took some time, and there was multiple stops along the way, a couple stops in Salisbury, right? We went from a back of another house to a 3-bay garage.
You know, when we had that, your first job, you know, remember what your first job was, Paul?
Shoveling snow.
You were so busy that you could shovel snow.
It was all glory out there. Yep. There was a lot of. Luckily there was some snow, so I could shovel.
Right.
And I do recall that first winter being a heavy winter, and there was a lot of shoveling to be done.
But then we got that first machine with Patricio, right?
Yeah, but that was I think that was
the
another
end.
2 years down the road.
Yep.
From that, so that was like 99.
We had to cut a hole in the the ceiling.
We knew so much about machines that we didn't measure that the elevator was too big for the garage that was in. So we had to cut a hole in the ceiling, put it in there.
And then we moved over to Millerton, and we thought we'd see what the New York State action was.
Yep,
That was a funny place to work out of.
Yeah, and then Gary told us we had to buy that big building, and that was probably a good idea. So that was
2003.
2003 coincided with when we got Barnes & Noble, I think.
A little bit after, yeah. It was the first year they had to put them in those glass jars, huh?
That's it.
That was a lot of work.
That was a lot of work, but that was a big step
Barnes
forward.
was good, yeah.
So that and then having such a big building, I think that's 89,000 square feet. That really helped, and that was a big step.
And then we started bottling stuff. You were sick of some of your competitors doing it and us not doing it, so you got into the bottling business.
Yep.
And then what we did to hemp, you know, our friend Will there said, got to get in. There's gold in them hills.
There's gold in those hills, and so we started growing hemp, and we did that, and we opened the store in Soho.
And what about Brigitte's store? You know,
Brigitte's store was going when I arrived. That was the first meeting we had was with Mr. Cooper in the store. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was
Super Mr. Cooper.
So that shop concept predated me, Mike. So I don't know when that was, but that must have been 96 or something like that.
All right, I'll take your word.
How many do you have today?
We have about what I see, 280 there, Paul.
I think 280 today. Sounds about right.
Brenda just celebrated 30 years, huh?
Yes, she did. She also predates me. And you too, Mike, or no?
No, I was there before her.
See, there you go. Plenty of them that have crossed the
10, 15, 20 years.
20-year mark,
Mm-hmm.
and plenty still that have crossed the 10-year mark. So that's always a good sign these people want to stay, and we certainly appreciate their help.
They do a great job. I think his first tea they ever did was the Palm Court, which he did for the Plaza Hotel. That was, of course, before you started working with us, Paul. But I remember him coming up with that blend and it being a very much a success, and still is a success.
It is. It's got that Formosa oolong in there, like old Norwood Pratt says. That's what you always want to have, a little Formosa oolong in
Secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
Well, do you remember what your first tea was, Paul? That you blended, that you chose?
Supreme Breakfast, I think, was the first tea I blended, Mike.
What is that?
That is how you be, Mike. How you
I be good.
How you be, and a
From
nice,
Keeman,
yes, China, and a nice Assam.
Excellent.
What about you, Mike?
I can't remember, Paul. You know, first, I'm a lot older than you, and second, I've been doing it for 30-some years, so I don't remember what the first one was.
That's true. Well, you know, happens.
All right.
Well, you blended a lot more teas than me, Mike. So you know,
they don't call me vice president of product for nothing.
That's it.
Now
we're getting easy.
3, 4, 5,
I don't know.
6,
Nobody knows.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
It's hard to really tell. Hard to count.
Is it more than 10?
It is more than 10.
Less than 1,000.
We say it's 250, but I don't
think it's double that, in my opinion.
I don't think anybody has
take
any real idea.
You take all the private label teas
Yep.
we do and stuff like that. So.
Whenever you want to stop counting, seems to be about it. We can't seem to kill a tea, so it does not shrink. The list does not shrink.
Everybody has something they like.
Yep.
Well, family business is not bad. Way to go through life. Our father started it off, and he worked with his wife, right? She helped fund the company in the beginning, It's been a pleasure to have my brother, and he likes to stick his nose everywhere, and that part's good. Having a different person's opinion. The wife she runs the shop pretty much, and I just come down there and catch a bite with her. Our kids, my kids are coming along. You know, Emmerich's been doing a good job on the website. Al's got they've got some really great food down there, and then you make us a professional video operation. So we have above average pictures, so that's good. How about you, Paul?
That's it. It's above average, I think, Mike. It's above average.
Well,
right?
yes,
it's well
that's
done.
True. What about your kids?
We don't know. We don't know.
Well, your kid's got it once.
No way to know.
Once his baseball career is over, right?
Yeah, we don't know.
Has he been drafted yet?
Nope. He's got a ways to go.
All right.
Right now, he's just trying to get out of high school, I think.
I don't think he has to try very hard. He seems he's doing well.
But it's fun. It's fun. It's a lot of fun to have a family business. So I'd recommend it highly for anyone that
has a family.
That has a family and has a business idea. Try it. You'll love it.
You know, our father, he always had a smile, Paul, right? Even the day that he passed away, he was helping out the employees with the strawberries. And he was down at the local supermarket giving people advice about which tea to buy. So he's passed that down. And he always said, you know, tea should be an everyday luxury, huh?
Yes, no, absolutely. Well, we got to sell a lot of tea. Let's not kid ourselves.
That's true.
So it's got to be an everyday luxury, and it is, because of course it's, you know, oftentimes how you start your day or how you go to sleep, catch a little chamomile at night, or anything in between. So there's a great selection that we have, and I think he knew that for us to grow, it needs to have a huge population of customers.
Well, he always said that you know, most people could buy good teas. Most tea companies could buy good teas, but they don't choose to do that. And so that's one of the things that we've chosen to do, huh?
That's true. That's I don't know if that's our competitive advantage, but it's I think the advantage that we have is that we're still in the business and still pushing forward. So I think that's kind of a nice piece of the puzzle.
And he has that letter I used over down by your desk where it was kept on
Minnesota.
calling.
Yeah,
the guy persistence.
St. Paul Hotel in Minnesota. Yes, he said thank you for all your persistence, and Pops did not ever give up. He was a bulldog.
Indeed.
So he just keep peppering. So I think that's something that we learned from both of our parents. So persistence is certainly what you need if you're going to have an entrepreneurial business.
And of course, treat the employees like family, Paul.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, I'm a little older than you, Paul. I don't know if you noticed that.
That's true. That's
so
true.
I have had to think a little bit more about the future. Maybe I haven't had it, but I have. And you know, I think our father did a good thing. He got it started and kept it rolling, and then gave it to us to do something. I'd like to try to do something like that later on too. So not too much later on, unfortunately for me, but so that's what I would like to do.
That makes a lot of sense. No, well, Pops 0 to 1 is, of course, I think probably the hardest number to get going, and somehow he managed to get that going and made it a lot easier for the rest of us.
Yep. Well, I think he would say nothing really surprises him because he was always correct. But he would be, of course, surprised that we are as big as we are, and that we, because it's been 9 years that he's been gone, so there's a lot of change that's happened. The company is much more than double the size than when he left. So there's a lot more employees. There's a lot more buildings and things that we do, but he laid down a great work. I mean, we're still the historic royal palaces, which he started. You know,
Yep.
We're their largest licensee. So we're here. I just saw today that the king was coming into the Parliament, so maybe we paid for that coach or something. I'm not sure, Paul.
That could have been it. It's possible. We don't know. But I think, you know, he'd certainly. I think he obviously had a great belief in the business, so you're right, he probably wouldn't be surprised, but he would be happy to see we have kept going in the direction that he set off in.
Well, we do keep his office open in case he does want to come back.
That's true. That's true.
Well, you know, we learned only buy teas that are going to make you smile. So we try to taste teas that we were tasting teas today, and we were tasting these Chinese black teas, and we were noticing a little bit of what they call autumnal flavor, which is a little more sour. We like that spring flavor. So we were there and choosing the teas. So we spend a lot of time trying to get great tasting teas.
Yep. No, it's I think, you know, as a company, we put our heart and soul into it, and that really does come through in the cup.
And then I think that we do have our employees are very friendly when they talk to them on the phone. So we do try to give them great service. You know, our father was in the hospitality business, Paul. So
Yes,
we try to be
Yes, he was.
hospital.
Yes, and you can
We don't want to
still
go to the hospital, but we want to be hospitality oriented.
That's true. You can actually call 800 Tea Time, Mike. And
What's the story behind 800 Tea Time?
that is the story. The story is somehow he came up with that number. I don't know how he came up with that number, but 800 numbers were just getting going, and 800 Tea Time, and then we put that everywhere. That was before the World Wide Web, as they say.
www. Given some thought, although we're sort of people that go by the minute, Paul, you know?
That is true. That is true.
We've yet to
Seeing
do a
the
budget.
future is difficult.
Well, our
We
father
can't-
did write a book about
Yes, we can't read the tea leaves
but-
quite as well.
No, he kept that to himself. But we're happy that people like us in the tea business. We think there's a lot of possibilities, a lot more opportunities in the tea business. So, you know, we're going to do some other things, of course, but mostly tea. I think, you know, would find in another 10 years or so, we'll still be mostly tea. It's a mine that is still out there.
That's it. That's it. We've got some untapped veins that we don't even know where they are yet. It's hard to see, hard to predict. But we're
Golden
excited.
hills.
Yeah, we're excited to find out and keep rolling. Nope.
I don't think so.
Have a happy new year.
We hope 2024 is going to be a great year for you.
Year of the Dragon.